I am here with Raush Manfio fighting Natan Schulte at PFL 6, June 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. First of all, how are things going ahead of this one? How's camp been?
Camp is great. I think the preparation even better than for the first fight. So I'm feeling great.
Well, that's good to hear. And obviously, you got the result you wanted in that first fight. This fight, though, I think the obvious story is that you are fighting a friend here. You are fighting maybe one of your best friends, godfather of your daughter, I believe, in Natan
Yeah,
Schulte.
yeah. Ter- Terrible situation, man. To be honestly, no one of us got happy with this. We were ready to fight each other in the semifinals, or the dream is the final, and we got really surprised about this match. But we never know. Maybe by after the waiting, someone got 5 pounds over the limit and they changed this match in the last minute. But we both are ready to kill. Doesn't matter who we need to fight. So you ready?
When obviously being friends, I mean, did you guys talk about this, back when you first came into the PFL? Maybe this could happen?
Yeah, sure. But what we didn't expect was because we have so many other fighters. Like for example, they put a new guy, a newcomer, to make the main event against the one, and they schedule us. They put this matchup to for us. So we were ready, but semifinals or final. To be honestly, we weren't prepared to fighting like in the for the playoffs for the regular season like this was a huge bad surprise.
And like you said, at least if it's the semifinals or especially the finals,
Yeah,
at least one of you
yeah,
is getting that big payday. Here, one of you wins and moves on. Chances are the other one doesn't get to go to the postseason. So it's going to be, I imagine, very
yeah,
bittersweet even if you win.
yeah. Definitely, if this happen, we have faith. Man. We both Christians, we both believers. So if I tell you our story, you're going to tell no, you over telling too much stuff. But our faith brought us here, and we built this really good career. We are now right now in a really good spot. Former champions of one of the biggest shows in the world. So we need to do what I need to do by the end of the day. But it's definitely it's not a day. If you need to fight, it's not gonna be a night to celebrate it.
And I know you're not much of a trash talker, but does this change how you approach the fight? Because now you're fighting a friend. You're probably not going to be talking too much, period.
Yeah, sure. Imagine, put yourself in my place. If you need to fight your best friend, and it's not like Martinez and one when they fought in the semifinals. Man, like last week, I got to have dinner at his house. We are really family. So it's weird. It's really weird. So, but like I told you, we have faith. We have faith. Maybe they change until the last minute. And after the waitings, like this happened once when I fought Paris, they changed me my fight after the waitings. So they pay me to not fight him. So I believe this is the way God does, and He always has the best for those who love Him. And I still have faith. But answer your question, it's always better when you can do some trash talking, and this motivates you and help you to keep sharp. Your soul get prepared to go in battle. This time, physically, emotionally, I try prepare myself thinking I'm gonna fight another guy. So I watch all the guys in the season, all the fights, knowing like maybe I'm gonna fight someone else. And this helped me to motivate me like a regular fight. But if I tell you, oh, I watched Natan's fights and to motivate myself, no, I didn't. I didn't.
Well, if it does happen, if nothing crazy happens and you do end up fighting as planned, I guess it's made the best man win. Now, the other factor here is you won your first fight of the season. You got 3 points for the decision. That actually means that there are several fighters ahead of you just based on how the PFL standings work. You might need a finish here to move forward. I mean, how does that play into things? Do you go into this thinking, hey, I'd better get us a
Yeah,
finish just in case?
yeah. So what happened? We try everything to not fight. If you we fight 100%. So we need to finish, just like any other fight. We need to respect each other, honor each other. We are friends, doesn't matter what. But if it this happen, well, I don't want this happen. But if this happen by the end of the day, we need to fight for real. He's gonna try to finish me in the first round, and I'm gonna try finish him in the first round. If we fight, has no 50% fight. It's always 100%. So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Now, last year's champion, Olivier Aubin Mercier, is in this season as well. That is a fighter that you have some history with. Is that a fight that you would like to see in the playoffs? Maybe get avenge that loss.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think the best way to fight him is for 5 rounds because my stamina is like I think I have a really good full tank, and I saw his fight against his last fight against Shane Burgos, and he fought to win the fight only to score the points to hold to guarantee. So he's the guy you need to hurt and keep hurting until the fight ends. So I think more rounds to fight him is easier. But a playoff semifinal would be nice too. I definitely would be a totally different uh, standard against him for this fight. I would go for 100 or nothing, to try finish the fight for real. And because now we know each other, so at the first fight, I think I was a little bit maybe concerned with his takedowns, and he tried hold me, and he did enough. He struck me and just score points. So now, if I need to fight him again, I would make a different strategy, and definitely the it's not the standard or but the attitude would be different. So yes, I would like to, especially in MMA, when you beat someone who already beat you, is like you have no more defeat. Like you clean your score. Even the number is still there, inside you like, okay, now I'm clean. It's not a defeat anymore. So yeah, it's someone I want to fight.
Clean slate, I hear you. You know, in the PFL, the champions don't really defend their title. You start the next season, everybody's back at
Yeah.
zero. But would it mean more to you to beat OAM in the final because he was last year's champ?
No, definitely not. It would be. I think it would be easier because 5 rounds is better for me. But not because it's the championship or because he beat me. No, like you told you, we don't defend nothing. He's trying to achieve a second title just like me, and so I think 5 rounds would be easier because my stamina is good, strategically speaking, but not because emotional or because the history or no. The perfect match for me in the fighter would be fight Natan in the finals, and would be like I started for a movie, and then this fight in the final to fight Natan, I will not get bothered. Would not be a problem. I think we deserved a movie about that with all our background history. But no, against one, no man. I just want to put a win over him. But if you ask me, oh, you want to fight him in the finals or fighting a guy who you think you're gonna beat a lot easier in the finals? No, the guy I'm gonna beat a lot easier. So by the end of the day, what it counts is the tournament, is the season. If you win the season, eventually I gonna have this match against him again if he keep doing good. So I don't need to rush.
Hey, when you talk about the movie of your life, who plays you?
Oh, they did this question for me a couple of years ago, and I forgot the name of the of this guy, but you remember that the movies when it was like vampires and wolfmans, like teenager movies. I don't know the name, Moonlight, something like that.
I Twilight. Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Twilight. Yeah, I think that was the movie, and so this guy who make like the main guy, the main actor, and he was a werewolf. I think he's is very similar to me, like color, skin, hair. I think he would be a nice guy to play me.
Okay, I know Robert Pattinson plays the vampire. I don't know who played the werewolf, but good stuff nonetheless. Hey, when we talk about OAM, the champ last year. I mean, you won it all in 2021. That was very much a Cinderella story. And how did your life
Uh-huh.
change after winning that title?
Totally. Like the house where I am right now is mine. So I still keep to pay the bills, of course, everybody. But I overcome too much things. Like now, I am American resident. I have the documents to live here. My wife can work if she wants. If I want to put my kids, I don't know, in a private school, I can. So many things change. I got the opportunity to when in my first new house, my first new car in my life. I went to the Genesis store and I bought the car I want because I really want the car, not because the price, just because I want. So I have this bucket list, and I risk many tasks of this bucket list, many lines like material dreams I achieve. I think almost all. So for a man who need to provide for his family, when you achieve, when you can have the money, success in your career, is a great thing for us
Absolutely.
because you feel like, okay, now I'm starting to do what I work my whole life to do. I'm starting training at 13, always dreaming to be a world champion. And at 29, after 16 years, I achieved that. And with this cherry in the cake with $1 million. And like for now, when I go to Brazil, they invited me to podcasts. Do you see your family proud about you? And everybody, even the persons who I study when I was a kid at school, they send me a message. Persons I didn't speak like over the decade. And they, man, you was 13, 14, and you told us your dream was to become a professional fighter and a world champion. And you did, you achieved. So this person speaking to me, leading me to cry and remember I always want that. And now I'm living the dream I always ask God to achieve. It's really hard, but it's the best feeling in the world.
Well, absolutely cool story to hear. You talk about the bucket list. What's left on the bucket list for you? What's next?
Oh, many things, but I risk all. I think money things like my house, the car. I think these don't touch my heart anymore. Always have something better, and so this is not something I'm fighting for. But I'm a youth leader at a church, so I want to start to building with these kids, teaching him about my story, and I bring them. Maybe they have the problems with drugs, problems with sex, problem with addictions, and I want to use my testimony to teach them and use my history to become a leader, maybe a motivation speaker. I'm going for this side. I start to improve this part of me, like not a student, as a leader, as a coach now. So it's a different moment of my life. As far I want to keep fighting for a lot, for many years to come. But being a leader, be a motivator and speaker is something who I put on my list.
Well, very admirable, and true to the martial arts spirit, right? It's not just body, it's soul as well. I
Yeah.
appreciate the time as always. I'm gonna ask you one more before I let you go. I know this is gonna be
Sure.
a tough fight for you. Just A, because Natan is a very good fighter. B, because he's your friend. But when you play this fight through in your head, how do you see this playing out?
Man, if you ask me 200 fights, I will knock him out. And this Natan, for in my opinion, is the best fighter in the show. I think he beat you one last season. I didn't agree with the judges when I rewatched his fight against Soan. So he's supposed to be the three-time champions. And my like the final would be against Stevie Ray, and he whooped Stevie Ray in his last fight. So man, he's the best fighter in the season, in my opinion. It's gonna be a really close fight, I think. Really close fight. We know each other games very well, so I think if this happens, this is gonna be a fight against who wants more, and it's gonna be you know by detail. I think this fight's gonna be win for a detail by points. It's the first fight I can tell you that because I know how good my friend is. He's an extraordinary fighter, and we need to really push ourselves to know to overcome the game of each other.
All right, well, looking forward to the fight, but I do wish that it works out for you and maybe you don't fight each other somehow. But either way, best of luck on the fight, June 23rd. Thanks again for the time today.
Thank you, I appreciate it, bro.
Not a problem. Have a great day.
You too.